right, so how's everyone doing? So hopefully you're doing well. You had a great weekend, and you are going to start off the week even a little bit better. So a couple of things I wanted to talk about. Well, I saw a lot of videos like everybody else over the weekend, and then one of the guys I listened to and watched his videos is Jonathan Carty, terrific player, and he has kind of like this nonsensical approach about playing and ways of getting better. I forgot the title of the video, but he was just talking about obviously practice and is he getting better as he's getting older, and then it becomes very challenging, especially most of us, we're not full-time musicians. We have careers, we have kids, and basically we have a life that we need to live. And so how do we make the practice more effective, or basically how do we improve on something? Because especially even some people who are full-time musicians, you need to be getting better, but are we getting better? And I think Jonathan was talking about plateauing. That if you look at certain people, they plateau, and that's fine for them to plateau. Like I think he talked about Eddie Van Halen. It's like, okay, Eddie was fast, but he didn't get any faster. And you see this quite often. Like Julian Lodge, he's a great player. He's not fast, but he's always been very good, and it's good enough. And I was watching something on Joe Bonamassa. He was a child prodigy, and are they getting better? Sometimes they don't need to get better. They're so far advanced with everybody else. But in any event, though, I'm wanted to talk about, I guess, three specific things for me that has helped me get a little bit better. And really, we have to find time for our practice. I'm going to say four, not three, actually. The first one is the time, Time, the four-letter word, time. Everybody always complains that because of life. I have a life. I have a job. This is not what I do full time or anything like that. But one of the things I propose is like to wake up as early as possible. This truly is a game changer in anything that you do, your work, your health, and obviously your guitar playing. And when you wake up earlier, it doesn't mean that you even have a little bit more time than everybody. To quite frankly, I go to bed early. What that means is that you have more focused time because most people start their day after 8 o'clock. I'm up by 4:35 a.m. easily every day, and I start, my physical routine, work, and even and fit in some guitar playing. So that's one of those things. But let's talk about the actual practice itself. There are three principles for me I want to talk about, and I've had some videos before, but I want to be very specific here. Um, I think the first one is to make sure that you set specific and achievable goals in your practice. Period. That's very important. All right. So, for example, there are a lot of things you can practice in guitar. But if you wanted to break it down to even a subset of that, it's really kind of think always falls into three categories. It's either theory, repertoire, or technique. Okay, whichever one you need to improve. A lot of us like the repertoire part because, especially if you're a gigging musician, you need to learn songs, and so you're going to work on that, listen to them, read the music, and things of that nature. And so that's probably the most fun out of all the other three. After that is theory. There's people who've spoken a lot about that don't think they need it, but it will help you. So sometimes buying a book and reading it and learning what a 251 is and learning something about the mode. You can always disagree with the theory, but don't let you're thinking like, oh, I don't need this as a way to springboard your ignorance, right? You be the judge after you learn the theory, but don't say I'm not learning it because I don't need it. That's a stupid man's way of thinking about it. So you've got theory and you have repertoire and you have things like technique. Do you want to get faster? Do you want to practice alternate picking? Do you want to practice legato technique? So anything technical. And you got to also realize that you can't practice everything. And as you look at your playing, you might say, I'm not getting any faster. I know I'm never going to be a fast player. That's not my shtick. I'm a melodic player. I'm not as much of a scalar player. I'm never going to be the whiz at the guitar that's going to amaze you in terms of my technique per se. I want the placement of my notes to be moving. Let's just put it that way. Not to say that fast players don't make that moving. So those are the three subsets I think of setting specific and achievable goals in guitar are all about, which is theory, repertoire, and really technique. The next level, whatever you do, slowly. And I've learned this the hard way. You think like if you want to improve your speed on guitar, you should set the metronome at 120, 180, 200, whatever. How fast will it go? Actually, no. It's actually the opposite. If you look at anybody who's good at anything, um, you have to look at the way they practice. And they practice on specific elements of it and they practice slowly. Like, for example, I didn't learn to swim until later in life, and I swim pretty much several times a week now. And it's only now I'm actually able to swim faster because I can swim slower. Because when you slow things down, you really kind of learn the nuts and bolts of it. So, all of the different elements of swimming, your reach, your catch, your pull, your rotation, your streamline, all of that stuff. The same could be said about music. Um, Practicing slowly has helped me and taken me to another level. And I should mention that for me, one of the techniques that I was working on is actually my timing. So as a result of studying a little bit the cello, which I'm still learning, everything has to be slow. But I work with the metronome, and I'm usually at 60 beats per minute or lower sometimes, and it's helped me tremendously. So practicing slowly is going to help you. So again, set specific and achievable goals and practice slowly. Okay, anything you do, whether it's alternate picking, whether it's finger picking, whether it's strumming, just set the metronome up at a slow speed, or even if you don't use the metronome, just practice it slowly. You're going to be able to identify your mistakes a little bit better. The third thing is, I'm going to say record yourself, but I'm going to go one more. Videotape yourself, and you'll obviously get the audio. First, I was going to say record yourself only, but a lot of times, again, let me go back to the cello a little bit about the record yourself. Cello for me was about positioning, where my elbows are, where I'm actually holding the instrument in and of itself, in between my legs, bowing technique, all of that stuff is very, very important in order to produce a good sound in the cello. The same can be said about playing the guitar. If you just record yourself, you might hear a mistake that you made, but you can't see why you flubbed that note or why it's being done correctly. Whereas this thing, I can go back if I'm practicing the C major scale. I got this down. You know, if I'm practicing the C major scale, go. Well, if I hear that, I might say, "Ooh, it doesn't sound right." But then if I play it back and I look at the video, I say, well, C, D, E. Oh, I went and hit a D sharp. There's no D sharp in the C major scale. So you can actually visualize it. So I do think that you should videotape yourself, not just record yourself. It's going to help you better identify your problem areas. So there you have it. Those are the three areas I think have made me a better guitarist, and hopefully improving as I get a little bit older. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, I know I talked about three, and I stuck that first one, which is about timing and finding that time to actually have a good practice. All right, then. What else are we going to do? As usual, practice, practice, and practice some more. Thanks again for watching.